They're just not letting anybody know it because they're making too much money on it.
It's not just that. Here's what scares me, Barbara. Me and you are both at the age, right? Social Security. Now, if you've been reading the news, they want to stop, giving food stamps to people. I'm not talking about even young people. I'm talking people that have, physical problems where they can't work. Older people. Okay? Because they figure it'll save billions of dollars if we cut people out of their food stamps. And they're talking about moving Social Security up to, eventually to 70 years old. Well, yeah, I guess if you move Social Security up to 70 years old, it's just like if you go to the casino, right? The more you push it up, the less money the payout's going to be.
True. Yeah.
It's really scary what is going on.
Oh, yeah. Well, that and the fact that I guess I'm getting very suspicious in my old age, I guess. But I won't even take the flu shots anymore because I heard at some point that in a lot of the immunizations, they were putting material in with the immunization that the public didn't know about. And I'm in that strata that they want us to die soon because they don't want to keep paying out money to us. So I don't trust a lot of the stuff that's going on today, and only because I think that they really want to get rid of the people that are relying on them, that have a right to rely on them.
You hit it right, because I've never had a flu shot in my life till this past summer. I think it was like the first week of June. I went to the doctor. I refused to get a flu shot. Ever. And you know what? I never really got sick with the flu. I got colds, but I never got really sick. Yeah. And the doctor says, well, Gary, you're going on 68 years old. You need a flu shot, but you don't need the standard flu shot. They got this other flu shot for older people. It has more, protection. And he talked me into it. Well, I got the flu shot.
How sick did you get?
The next couple of days afterwards, I got really sick. But then that went away, and then a month later, I came down with the worst flu I've ever had in my life. It lasted 3 weeks.
Yeah. No, and the thing is, with these flu shots, they're making them up from last year's flu, and the flu absolutely changes year to year, so that you're getting immunization from a bug that isn't around anymore.
Pretty much, yeah. Isn't that it's all about money?
Yeah. No, and I don't trust it. I have seen too many people get sick from flu shots and die. And I think when at one point the Clinton Foundation was sending all sorts of immunizations over to third world countries, and I think there was a comment that they were actually using it to do euthanasia, to make the people sick so that they would die. So, no. The element of we aren't as civil a society as people like to think and believe. And eugenics originated in the United States, and Hitler took notes from our eugenic program, and that's how he started to kill off the Jews. He took notes from America. So, no, we aren't as civil and as civilized and as peaceful, loving as a lot of. We're better than most, but we aren't great.
No. What concerns me is we can go into the biggest, deepest hole financially ever in our country right now. And instead of cutting back on military spending or cutting back on certain other things, the first thing they think, the older people. We're going to push it where they, we're going to take some of their Medicaid benefits away from them. We're going to push up retirement age up slowly up to 70. knowing the average life for a male, for example, is early 70s. So, I mean, they're doing it for they don't have to pay out as much. Well, I guess that's one way. But you know what? They rob Social Security for every chance they get for, funding of other projects. It's crazy. But then they're saying, well, it's going to go bankrupt. I wonder why.
Uh-huh. Yeah, no, there's a lot going on. And, I just kind of sit back and I don't know a lot, and I don't know enough to really make a difference. And so I try to keep myself on the fringes and talk about things that, to share things so people can learn more about our history and stuff like that. But the reality is that what's going on in the world is really quite frightening. And, you look at it and you see wars that shouldn't be, and we try to stop wars in places where the people have been at war for thousands of years. And it's the only thing they know how to do, instead of taking care of our own. I mean, look at what they're doing with the refugees. They want to give the refugees a place to live, food stamps, and jobs. And yet we have people living on the streets in tents.
No, or people, I saw pictures here recently, frozen. They died on a park bench, wrapped with a blanket, because the shelters were filled up. They had no place to go. So they end up dying. That's scary. I mean, when we can sit there, I hate to say it, we are the world's police force. Why are we the world's police force? We should really be more concentrating on our own country, education, health-wise, everything else, and not worry about so much about what happens in the Middle East or what happens, in Asia or whatever. It's really none of our business. Yeah.
I don't know who gave us the job, but, I'd like to, give it back. I mean, you look at, we have 800 FEMA camps across the country that could take care of thousands and thousands of people. They're all stocked. They're all manned. And one of the mandates for people that were being hired for them was, would you fire on an American citizen? So I don't know what they're for, but I do know that we've had a number of really, really big horrible things happen, like Katrina. There are FEMA camps down there. They could have taken the people and put them in the FEMA camps, fed them, clothed them, housed them, taken care of them until they could go back to their homes. They didn't do that.
No, I don't think they want people to see what the FEMA camps look like inside. I've had some people on the show that's been with the DOD. One person I had on the show back almost 2 years ago with a CIA retired, told me some scary things about FEMA camps. It was built for the future. So one day, if society starts breaking down, then that's when the FEMA camps will come in play.
Yeah. Martial law is going to be declared, and they're going to put the dissenters in the camps. But in the meantime, there were people that were sitting in a baseball stadium, football stadium, I forget what it was, with nothing, and it boggles my mind that we have facilities we could put these people in until they could go back to their homes, and we didn't do it. And so why are what are they waiting for? And unless these camps are meant strictly for containment and prison.
That's what I was told they were. Now, one thing you mentioned, okay, but you didn't answer it. You mentioned when you apply for a job at one of these camps, to get into that camp, to work in that camp, would you open fire on American citizen? Now, what I was told is the answer is if you said no, you wouldn't get that. You wouldn't get that position. If you said yes, you got that position.
Yeah. I just, and all this with talking about taking people's guns away from them. I mean, I don't have a gun. I don't have a gun because with my luck, I'd shoot myself in the foot. It's just there. And besides that, I have nothing worth stealing. so, I would just say, take whatever you want. Leave my cats because they're important to me, but you can have anything else. I don't care. But there are people that seem to think that aiming a gun and shooting at somebody is going to solve a problem. It's not. And while I don't personally want one, I have to admit I have a taser.
Be careful. I had a taser once, and I accidentally tasered myself. And when I got off the floor and felt better, about 2 hours later, I took the batteries out of it and threw it away.
Well, and I have a baseball bat, too. So.
Well, then you're set.
I'm all set. I have one for each hand. And of course, if chaos hits and somebody tries to break in, I'm going to have to say, wait a minute, I got to get my baseball bat so I can defend myself here. But again, I just think having somebody threatened my life a number of years ago, and gave me several horrible phone calls about how they were going to smash my brains and spread them across the driveway and everything else, and they left a lot of messages on my answering machine. And Patrick was still alive at the time, and I had the recording, and I took it to the police station. I said, look, I'm getting these calls, and I don't know who they're from. And I waited for it because I knew that I was going to get the one comment, if you're a psychic, you didn't know this was going to happen. And, I said, it's very funny, but no, I didn't. And they did chase down where the call came from and shut the place down. But it was like, I just didn't want to have a weapon in the house. I don't believe in them. Accidents happen, and they're tragic, and I just didn't want to be a part of an accident that happened. And, God forbid somebody, come into the house and me panic and shoot them, and it would be a friend that needed help or needed shelter. So, nope. That
has happened. Hey, now our time is almost up. Can you hang on for about another 15 minutes after the break? Because I want to plug your show and
oh, sure.
Yeah, okay. So we're going to be on a break for about 2.5 minutes. We're going to be back with Barbara Delong. She is a well-known, internationally known radio star, talk show host, host, and we'll be back with Barbara, right after the break. So stay tuned.
Sometimes get uptight when reading all those faith-based books all claim to get it right. In volumes of religious texts which have their own agenda, there lies a silver thread of truth mixed in with propaganda. Be careful what you say to those with whom you'll be at odds, who've taken on the dogma in the pantheon of gods.
Doesn't matter if you're Christian or if Islam or Hindu, your horizons need to open to a universal view. The dynamics of change in an endless cosmic sea all need to be a part of your mind's reality. There's been more than one intrusion when you finally check the odds of rules and competition in the pantheon of gods.
Aztec gods, Celtic gods, gods of ancient Sumer. All of them existed, and it's not just myth or rumor. Greek gods, Hindu gods, all gods in relief.